The hidden secrets of the Great Wall of China. Tunnels, lost echoes, and signs from beyond. Stretching over 21,000 kilometers, a stone serpent slithers through mountains, valleys, and deserts. A colossal structure built by human hands, with a history dating back over 2,000 years. But behind its imposing appearance, the Great Wall of China holds secrets rarely mentioned in history books. What do its forgotten tunnels conceal? Why do some travelers claim to have heard voices among the stones when no one is near? And what are those inexplicable lights still seen atop the watchtowers today? Welcome to WanderGems, the channel where we unearth the most fascinating and hidden mysteries of our planet. Today, we will take you deep into one of humanity's most imposing monuments. But we won't talk about emperors or battles. Today we will explore what history has tried to bury. The passages that should never have been opened, the legends that still whisper among the bricks, and the enigmas that make the Great Wall much more than just a simple defense. Get ready to discover the hidden secrets of the Great Wall of China. Tunnels, lost echoes, and signs from beyond. A journey that will traverse not only stone and time, but also the limits of the inexplicable, the origin of a stone serpent, and the first whisper from below. To understand the hidden secrets of the Great Wall, we must first travel to the very origin of its existence. 7th century BC. China is not yet a unified empire, but a mosaic of warring kingdoms. Each builds its own defenses, walls of mud, stone, and wood. But it won't be until the reign of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, that the pieces begin to come together. Obsessed with immortality and control, Qin Shi Huang orders the connection of regional walls and the creation of an impenetrable barrier against northern enemies, the Xiongnu. More than 300,000 men, peasants, soldiers, prisoners, are sent to the mountains to build what will later be called the Long Wall. Many die, and some disappear without a trace. The first records of entrances that lead nowhere appear in Han Dynasty scrolls. Documents that speak of sections where workers were swallowed by openings in the ground, never to return. Maintenance passages, natural caves, or something more? Some archaeologists believe these tunnels were escape routes in case of invasion. But others suggest they were not built by the Chinese, but discovered and expanded. Routes that were already there when the wall was raised. Paths that delve into the earth, with no apparent end. What did Qin's workers find beneath the stones of the wall? And, more disturbingly, what did they seal down there? Tunnels beneath the stone. The network that was never charted on maps. For centuries, the tunnels beneath the Great Wall were the subject of whispers, not official records. Imperial documents rarely mentioned them. Maps ignored them. But among the villagers who lived alongside the wall, generation after generation, the stories never stopped circulating. My grandfather said there were holes in the ground where dogs disappeared, places where if you threw a stone, you wouldn't hear it fall. In 1998, a restoration team in Hebei province discovered a collapsed entrance to an underground network, just beneath a ruined watchtower. The tunnels were filled with dust, debris, and something else. Symbols carved into the stone, predating even the Qin dynasty. What exactly was sealed beneath the wall? Why build a colossal defense right above it? Some Taoist texts mention faceless creatures that dwell beneath the mountain. Other legends speak of a door connecting this world to one of suffering and chaos, buried by divine command. Pure superstition or a coded warning? The truth is, since then, no worker has entered that section without ritual protection. And some claim that The echoes coming from there are not their own. Lost echoes when the stones begin to speak. Those who have walked alone on the Great Wall, especially at dawn or dusk, describe an unsettling feeling, as if they were not walking alone, as if every step, every breath, echoed in a place where it shouldn't be. I was in a section where no one was around. I stopped to drink water and clearly heard footsteps behind me, but there was no one. I checked everything. It was just me. And yet, the sound persisted. Sometimes the wall repeats your voice, but in another language. Scientists have tried to explain these phenomena as acoustic reflections caused by the wall's very structure. However, in some sections, like Jiankou and Simatai, the sounds do not just bounce back. They transform. A team of acoustics experts from Tsinghua University recorded echoes lasting up to 9 seconds longer than physically possible, even under controlled conditions. One of the echoes seemed to pronounce, without human intervention, the word hui, hui, which means return. Are the echoes just physical distortions? Or are they responses from something that remains hidden, waiting to be heard? They say that on the wall. If you hear your name and no one is around, do not respond. Fires that should not burn, signals from the beyond. In ancient times, the Great Wall was not just stone and watchfulness. It was also a communication network. Smoke signals during the day, fires at night. A lit torch in one tower warned the next. And thus, within hours, a message could travel hundreds of kilometers. But today, those fires are extinguished. The towers are empty. And yet, from time to time, someone sees them again. I thought it was a drone, but the light made no sound, and it didn't fly. It floated, like a suspended flame. German tourist. It lit up for a few seconds over a collapsed tower, then disappeared. There was no one around, no roads, no access. Interestingly, the places where these lights appear coincide with historical records of surprise attacks, where it was said that the signals did not arrive in time. Were the towers sabotaged, or did the watchers never manage to light the fire? In 2004, a nighttime expedition led by a group of paranormal researchers captured a blurry image of what seemed to be a human figure holding a traditional lantern in a tower completely inaccessible from the outside. Who lights those lights? Are they just natural phenomena, or ancient guardians still fulfilling their duty? They say that if you see a light turn on over a ruined tower, don't get close, because you may not be welcome. Ancient voices. The chance that dawn does not erase long before the Great Wall was built. The lands it now crosses were dotted with altars, mounds, and temples dedicated to forces we now only know by fragments. Lost cultures, forgotten tribes, peoples who spoke with the gods, or with something deeper. In 2010, a team of Chinese archaeologists found the remains of a pre-dynastic sanctuary buried under a watchtower in Gansu province. Among the findings, a circular stone altar and a dozen faceless humanoid figures carved from stone. Since then, reports have multiplied. Hikers reported hearing repetitive chants just before dawn. Multiple voices, like a collective prayer, resonating among the stones. I thought it was a group of monks, but when I looked around, there was no one. The singing didn't come from above. It came from below. Sound experts claim that certain ancient structures can resonate with natural frequencies that produce auditory sensations. But the chants are always different. And the strangest thing, in some cases, exact sound patterns have been recorded with identical repetitions in different places and dates. Is it a spiritual residue? A cultural echo anchored in the stone? Or is something beneath the wall still practicing a ritual that never ended? They say that if you hear the complete chant, you will never be able to forget it. Those who did not return, disappearances without a trace along the wall. Since its construction, the Great Wall has witnessed thousands of deaths, but not all were recorded. Some lives vanished without leaving a bone, nor a name. Just an absence and unanswered questions. Officer number 47 did not return from patrol. 3 were sent, only 1 returned without memory. The tunnel under Tower 132 is closed by imperial decree. During the Ming Dynasty, there were at least 37 formal records of patrollers who simply disappeared between 2 towers. No signs of struggle. No witnesses. Just footsteps in the snow that stopped. In 1984, during restoration work near Badaling, 2 workers vanished in broad daylight. Witnesses saw them enter a passage under the wall that had just been discovered, and they never came back out. The entrance was sealed days later without an official explanation. Relative of one of the missing. They told us it was a landslide, but nothing was ever found. No tools, not even a buckle. Over the centuries, disappearances have followed a pattern. Areas with sealed tunnels. Towers with reports of unexplained lights. Sections where chants can be heard. Everything seems connected. They say that if you enter certain tunnels alone, you can hear the footsteps of those who never came out. And if you stop, they stop walking with you and wait for you. Invisible lines. Is the Great Wall an ancient power channel? From above, the Great Wall seems to follow the contours of the geography, as if obeying a greater intention. It not only protects, it connects. Geobiology and alternative archaeology researchers have suggested that certain megalithic structures, from the pyramids of Egypt to Stonehenge, could be located over what are known as ley lines, alignments of Earth energy that traverse the planet like an invisible network. Mapping these lines reveals something surprising. Key sections of the wall align with millimeter precision to other ancient structures on the Eurasian continent. Like Mount Kailash in Tibet, considered the axis of the world in Hinduism and Buddhism, and the megalithic complex of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. Earth energy. Expert. These alignments cannot be a coincidence. The wall was not built just for defense, but also to channel. It was a backbone, a stone circuit activated by lost rituals. The oldest imperial documents mention sleeping dragons beneath the earth that had to be appeased with watchtowers in the right places. In the Chinese worldview, dragons were not monsters. They were channels of energy flowing through the world. What if the Great Wall was not just a barrier, but a key to open or seal invisible forces? What if each tower, each tunnel, each hidden section is part of a greater map that we have only just begun to understand? They say that at certain points of the wall, even compasses don't work. And where there is no north, the rules change. What should not have been found, forbidden artifacts, and missing records. Official archaeology recognizes the Great Wall as a feat of military engineering. But there are fragments of truth that never made it into history books. During restorations between the 1950s and 1970s, some workers claimed to have found artifacts that were not officially catalogued. Metal mechanisms with unknown engravings, maps with routes not found in any imperial archive, and stone cylinders that emitted a buzzing sound when moved. We were ordered to seal the chamber. They said what we found was not Chinese, that it should not see the light. In Hebei province, a tunnel discovered beneath a collapsed tower led to a circular chamber with engravings that did not match any known dynastic style. The workers described an abnormal silence inside as if sound could not bounce off the walls. Shortly after, the site was covered with reinforced concrete. No public report was issued. All that remained were accounts, lost photographs, and a leaked copy of a handwritten inventory, which included something labeled Invocation Device. What were they afraid we would find? And why would the emperors themselves have gone to such lengths to hide it? In certain forbidden Taoist texts, it is mentioned that the wall was built for more than just stopping physical invaders, but to contain something ancient. Perhaps the Great Wall does not divide the visible world, but keeps the other side sealed. And what some have found, or heard, in its forgotten tunnels was not meant for human eyes, nor for this era. They say that if you find an access point that no one else sees, it's because you have already been chosen to enter. The whisper of the ancients, what the villagers never stop telling. Far from the tourist bustle, there are villages that have coexisted for centuries with the imposing shadow of the Great Wall. There, the elders tell stories that are not found in imperial archives, but that have survived dynasties, wars, and silences. Old woman. My great-grandfather said that when he was a child, the dogs barked all night, but never towards the forest, always towards the wall. In a village in Shanxi province, there is talk of a wandering spirit that haunts the abandoned towers every 100 nights. They say it drags a chain of bones and sings with the voice of those who died inside the tunnels. A peasant in 1926 reported to the authorities having seen a white figure climbing the wall from the inside. When they found him, he was in shock, repeating only one phrase: "The wall does not protect, it confines." Legends agree on one thing. The wall was not built just to defend against what came from the north, but to confine something that was inside. Something that only came out when the stone broke, when the cracks opened. Some elders say the wall is a cycle, that every so often it tries to open, and it is the responsibility of the living to remember why it was closed. Perhaps the wall is not measured in kilometers, but in echoes, and in what still whispers when no one is listening. The Great Wall as an ancestral seal, guardian of a dormant force. Imagine that the Great Wall is not just a physical barrier, but a ritual seal, a gigantic structure designed to contain something beyond the visible world. Since ancient times, cultures around the world have built walls, circles, and mounds, not only for defense, but to protect the world from what should not awaken. In ancient Taoist manuscripts and folklore, the wall is described as the great jade rope that binds a sleeping dragon beneath the earth. That dragon is not just a mythical creature. It symbolizes a force that maintains the balance between heaven and earth. If the seal were to weaken, legends say, the dragon would awaken, and with it, a storm of chaos and destruction would sweep the planet. Could the unexplained disappearances, sealed tunnels, and hidden symbols be part of that protective system? A system that humanity still does not fully understand, but which has kept the world safe. Every stone, every tower, was not just a defense against invaders, but a silent guardian of an ancient secret. Because there are forces that cannot be seen, but can feel you tremble when you break them. Science and mystery. Physical anomalies and unexplained phenomena at the Great Wall. In recent decades, the Great Wall has been the subject of scientific studies attempting to unravel its mysteries from a rational perspective. But what they found defies many expectations. We have detected inexplicable variations in the Earth's magnetic field in specific areas of the wall. In some spots, compasses spin erratically, and sensors register energy pulses that do not correspond to known natural phenomena. Additionally, infrared cameras have captured fleeting lights and diffuse shapes that cannot be attributed to wildlife or human activity. Paranormal researchers and physicists agree that these signals could be indications of a residual energy field, perhaps related to the ancestral rituals performed during its construction. Acoustic sensors have picked up sounds that seem like whispers or ancient chants, impossible to hear with the naked ear. I felt as if something invisible touched me and heard a distant chant. It was terrifying and fascinating at the same time. Still without definitive answers, modern science confirms that the Great Wall holds secrets that challenge our understanding. Are we facing an unusual natural phenomenon? Or the tangible footprint of forces that the ancients knew and that remain active today? Testimonies and unexplained encounters at the Great Wall. In modern times, the Great Wall continues to be a place of mystery and strange manifestations, not only for archaeologists and scientists, but also for those who walk its paths. Traveler says, while walking along a less visited stretch, I felt an intense cold pass through me, even though it was summer. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me, but when I turned around, there was no one there. Local guardians and villagers also report strange encounters. They see ghostly lights, whispers in forgotten tongues, and the feeling of being watched by invisible presences. Guardian says, I have seen lights floating near the towers at night. And sometimes I feel a presence that protects me, but also watches over me. Some explorers have recorded inexplicable sounds, which have been analyzed by experts without finding an explanation. Ethereal voices, ancient chants, and noises similar to dragging chains. These experiences keep alive the belief that the Great Wall is more than stone and history. It is a place where the past and the hidden converge at a threshold between two worlds. The living legacy, the Great Wall in contemporary culture and spirituality. Beyond its imposing physical presence, the Great Wall remains a deeply rooted spiritual and cultural symbol in the daily lives of millions. In several regions near the wall, locals perform ancestral rituals to honor the invisible guardians who, they believe, protect the wall and keep dark forces at bay. Taoist monk. Every year, during the full moon festival, we light lanterns and recite prayers to renew the seal that the Great Wall represents. It is an act of respect and spiritual vigilance. The wall also inspires artists, poets, and writers who see in its stones a bridge between the past and the present, the tangible and the invisible. In popular culture, the wall appears in stories, movies, and video games, always shrouded in an aura of mystery and ancestral power. This living legacy confirms that the Great Wall is not just history. It is a symbol of protection, of secrets kept, and of the eternal vigilance of what lies hidden. What is sealed must remain so. Final reflection. The Great Wall of China is much more than an imposing structure of stone and brick. It is an enigma that defies time, a silent guardian of ancient secrets and forces that elude our understanding. As we walk its paths, we feel the presence of thousands of generations who built not just a wall, but a boundary between the visible and the invisible. What stories still remain hidden? What forces await in the shadows? The wall invites us to question and to respect the mysteries that surround us. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the hidden secrets of the Great Wall of China. If you are fascinated by this video, don't forget to subscribe to WanderGems to discover more mysteries and legends from around the world. Let us know in the comments which secret of the Great Wall impacted you the most, and share this video with your adventurous friends.